Captain Kirk, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, Rick. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise.
Hey there, you're all great Americans. I just want you to recognify that these are challenging times.
And the fly.
Help me! Help me!
Classic TV and movie fans, Rick 9G here. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super excited today. It is my pleasure to introduce someone very, very special, not just because he does a lot of crazy talented things. He's an actor, he's a voice actor as well. He does so many things, has been with so many Hollywood stars. When I was a little boy, I used to watch him on TV, and now it's my pleasure to be able to bring him to you. His name is Jim Meskimen. And there's so much that I have to talk to you about him. Not only is he just the best at making impressions, making you laugh, and just being so talented, he's also the son of, I know a lot of you watch Happy Days, one of your favorite shows. Well, yes, Marion Ross, Mrs. C, right? Yes, Mrs. C's real life son is here. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us and for coming on Rick 9G.
Thanks, Rick. It's great to be here. I appreciate it. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Oh, no, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I'm so excited because, like I said, this isn't just, me interviewing someone who, would bring some interesting information for the channel. I feel like there's really a connection between, myself being a fan, watching the work that you did. And we've talked a little before this, and we've also talked about how one of your biggest well-known things a lot of people might know you about is being on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, a show from the 90s starring Will Smith. Fantastic cast. Can you tell us a little bit about that actual episode and why do you think people recognize you from that specific role?
Yeah, I played Will Smith's Western philosophy teacher, Jeremy Mansfield, which sounds a lot like Jim Meskimen. And they really wrote this part for me. How it happened to be was that I was doing improv in New York, and I was doing a lot of impressions. I do a lot of celebrity voices and things, and doing a lot of commercials at that time. Anyway, I kept in touch with some of my LA friends because I grew up in LA, and one friend turned out to be a very big entertainment lawyer, and another friend turned out to be a producer, and one of the producers of the Fresh Prince, a guy named Jeff Pollock, who unfortunately passed away about 10 years ago. But at the time, Jeff Pollock was an old friend. I mean, we'd been in PE class together and lots of junior high school classes, and he always kind of remembered me. And then he got into this position of being a television producer. And so I believe it was his idea with my other friend, Ken Hertz, the entertainment lawyer, to pitch a story that would be a kind of I think they called it a backdoor pilot, which would be me on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air as being this character in that world. And so they wrote this wonderful, wonderful part. And at the time, I'd never done a television show. I'd been around a lot of them. I'd seen my mother do a lot of them, but I'd never been in a TV show at all.
Right.
So it was a big, big thrill to come. I just moved home from New York. It was 1993, I think. And this thing actually came together. I got to, gosh, I cannot remember what studio it was at right now. Isn't that funny? But it was a thrill to do it. And I thought, from after that, I thought, well, this is how all TV shows are. You're written in every scene just about, and, you have all kinds of lines and wonderful scenes with the star. And it wasn't true at all. I mean, after that, it was really slim pickings because that was a very specially written script that it showed off my skills as an impressionist and as an actor. And I was kind of like a poor man's Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society. That was sort of what it was designed to be, and what we were trying to evoke. And I think it did it very well. So it really is one of those things that I get recognized from again and again, particularly among, people that watch The Fresh Prince over and over again. And it still runs all the time. So I get, at this point, I get a check for $14, a residual. But I always have a real fond place in my heart for that episode and for working with Will.
That's so great. It was almost like the episode was made for you and Will, and Will Smith and yourself had such great chemistry. Like, I've rewatched the episode before this interview a couple days ago, and you guys just worked so well, and you were ragging on each other, kind of bumping each other, and it just worked so well. So you must have rehearsed a lot, you must have practiced, and there's also that luck of good chemistry, I think, too, that you guys had and developed.
he was a very expansive, warm, generous performer at the time, and he was probably still is. Recent missteps notwithstanding, but I had a great time on that show, and we rehearsed it a lot. We rehearsed it all week long. That's how you do a sitcom: is you come in the first day as a table read. You just read the script. The second day you get it on its feet. You walk it around, and the subsequent days leading up to the taping are polishing and blocking and getting the camera involved and figuring out what you're going to do on the night, and then you film it in front of a live audience, most of it. And that was a big thrill. It was very, very exciting, and it was something that I was really ready for. I'd done 10 years just of improv in New York City, so I was very comfortable being in front of people, very comfortable with comedy, and being able to do impressions that I did William Shatner. I believe you just saw it. You remember better than I. And I did, what else did I think I did Robin Williams? I don't know.
Yeah.
Several others. Jack Nicholson, who was still making movies back then. So he was very topical. And so
The Fly as well.
And The Fly. Help me. Yeah. So I came back and did later on, a couple years later, I think, because I didn't take advantage of the opportunity that was afforded to me to actually pursue that pilot. They wanted to do they wanted it to be a pilot. They wanted to develop a series, and they zigged and I zagged. I was very, very attached to the group that I've been working with, an improv company, and we had television plans. And so I consider it a mistake at this day that I decided to not go with this very sure thing, frankly. The successful bunch of people who had, all kinds of good connections, and instead developed this much more difficult, but much more ambitious, probably would have been an amazing project if it had happened, but it was a real long shot. So I didn't get to do that again, but I did get to come back on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air a couple of years later, maybe 2-3 years later, and play a different character. So that was nice that they allowed me to come back on. I did 6 or 7 episodes as
Werner?
Werner, the TV producer of his cousin Hillary's talk show, The Hillary Show.
Yes, definitely. I remember that.
Then I discovered, you're just in a couple of scenes. You just got a couple of lines. A big demotion for me. But I got to work with William Shatner, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's, I think, fantastic. And speaking of William Shatner, I think we have a broadcast from the USS Enterprise. Do you think we can get Will on here? Let me see. Let me patch him through. Captain Kirk, can you hear me?
Yes, Rick. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. I couldn't help noticing that you were talking about me in front of people. I'd appreciate if you leave me out of the conversation. I have so many things to do.
Oh, the great Bill Shatner. So the much maligned. Of course, now Bill Shatner is like a senior statesman. He's got a completely different personality. And he's heard so many people do impressions of him. I think he's completely over it, unimpressed. But what a marvel. He's 90 or 91 now. He's been up in space, actually.
Yes.
What an amazing character.
And hold on, Jim. I think now we have another broadcast. Someone seems a little jealous. Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
He seems like he's coming through.
Yes, and I've used the same cup that Bill did. Picard, yes, I hate to be intrusive, but yes, if you're going to make it so, well, you should make it so with me, don't you think?
I love doing Patrick Stewart's voice because it always puts me in a good mood. You have to be sort of cheerful and urbane and sophisticated and just a little bit naughty to do Patrick Stewart. So Pat, and what a charming personality he has. I look forward to meeting him someday. I look more like him every day.
I love it with the white hat, and you have that Picard look when he was on the show. Definitely.
Yes, the mischief. I think we have a lot of genetics in common.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. The range that you have is just phenomenal. I mean, you just did the flying Patrick Stewart within 10 minutes. So that's
insects, men, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Well,
I grew up in a family where to do vocal things and to make each other laugh was perfectly acceptable. My mother did accents and has performed them many times. I mean, she got her first break in live TV playing an Irish maid in a Noel Coward live TV broadcast at CBS when she must have been in her 20s. So she was very used to doing accents, and my sister and I, we would goof around and imitate characters from Laugh-In. And my mom was a great one for not shutting us down or saying, well, that's enough of that. She didn't do that. She was always, I think she liked playing with us. I think she enjoyed being amused by us. And my dad was a little different. He had a little less patience, but they split up when I was 8. So I mostly spent time with my mom, and I noticed that most people that I talk to, their parents are not as appreciative or patient or tolerant with their child's artistic creations, be they musical, visual, or acting, or voices, or what have you. And especially, I think, in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Now I think people are a little more sensitive. I hope they are, because, my God, in the old days when parents would say, well, you need someone to fall back on. You need a job that you can. Meanwhile, the artists are the ones that are making tons of money.
Yeah.
And even the young ones. And now with the internet, it doesn't matter. Are you 6? Are you 14? You can make a fortune as an artist, as a performing artist, or as a visual artist or a musical artist. There's really no barrier there.
Absolutely. No, I think we were talking about that earlier, how your mom, of course, Marion Ross, Mrs. C on Happy Days, who's still doing amazingly well, healthy and alive right now, which is such a blessing to have her.
Yes, she'll be 94 in October, and she's just a treasure. She's not working anymore. She's retired and enjoying her retirement, her beautiful estate, Happy Days Farm, she calls it.
Oh, wow.
It's not a farm, but it's a nice estate with a tennis court and a pool and beautiful property with trees and flowers. It's nice.
That's so great. And I know the show Happy Days, when Ron Howard was on the show, obviously you would appear sometimes, with your mom, or go on set, correct? Just to be able to kind of see what she was doing. And you were about the same age as Ron at that time?
Oh, yeah. He's about 5 years older than I am, but I used to go to the set as often as I could. Especially when I could drive, that was possible, for me to go. I would go to the tapings on Friday night, and gosh, it was always so exciting, because back then a hit TV show would reach 15 million viewers.
Wow. Yeah.
Every week, and Happy Days was a hit, and so there were very few choices, and so the intensity of it was amazing. And Henry Winkler as Fonzie had just unbelievable star power, and he was like Elvis. He would come out in the beginning of the show and kind of introduce himself, and people would just go out of their minds. It was very exciting.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I mean, to be able to be part of that history of being on the show, but then having your mom be a part of the show, I think that's great. And she encouraged your talents to not just be an actor, but also voice actor. Like, I would definitely say that those skill sets are different. They're not just, well, he's an actor, he can also do impressions. No, those are two very different things. And
yes,
you excel, I would say, at both. And you've had a whole career spanning, I believe you said 35 years. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's over 35 years now. I mean, back to, and it all started with a lot of voiceover, a lot of commercials in New York. I got started in New York City. I found it difficult to get started in LA. It's very spread out here. And even though I had some connections, it was just logistically very difficult, challenging. But in New York, you're much more hands-on. You meet people on the street. It's not a one industry town, so there's a little more openness. Oh, you're an actor. Oh, well, I have a friend who's an agent, whatever. Out here, it's like, yeah, you're an actor. Okay, yeah. I've met 50 actors today.
Exactly, right. That's
so
awesome.
But yeah, I thank you. They are different skill sets. Being an actor, being a successful actor, keeping it rolling is its own skill set. Auditioning is its own skill set, and impressions and improv are yet others. So they're all tools for the actor to have, and the better ones, are really, really good at a big handful of those skill sets. And I'm just fortunate, I guess, because I got a bit of a leg up with Mom, having her in my life, because I got to see what it was like to observe a working actress. What did she actually do? What does that world look like? What does that daily routine look like? What's that hustle like? and I saw the things that she would do, and she really was very focused and very driven, and treated it like a game, and she was just super determined. She started off as a young girl in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be a movie actress, and she pulled it off. I mean, it's really pretty miraculous.
Oh,
Mind blowing.
What a great thing. And you also know you're on Family Matters, right? For at least a few episodes.
Just a couple. I think it was that was a NASA Family
Yes.
Matters. Yeah, I played a NASA geek, a mission
Mhm.
controller, and that was basically, I think I got that part on the strength of the fact that I did audition, but I was in Apollo 13 where I played a mission controller. So I think that might have had a little bit of juice still attached to it. And so I got that part. Really was just, I think it was like a 2-episode show. So I probably spent, 5 days shooting it or working on it. So it was not a huge part of my life. I
Yeah.
remember
No,
it
but
was
that's
Warner Brothers, and I remember seeing George Clooney playing basketball outside our stage.
that's
And he
amazing.
said, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm good."
Beautiful thing. Before we end, I just want our viewers to know, what are your current projects or things that you would like to tell them that you're doing? Maybe some people want to visit. I don't know if people are on TikTok or Instagram, but you do it all. You're not just doing voice acting and so forth. You're promoting yourself on every platform pretty much.
Thank you, Rick. Yes, I had quite a bit of success on YouTube, and it helped propel me into a whole different category of performer with my impressions. I got on America's Got Talent and had a TV series, which began with a viral YouTube video. So I'm still on YouTube. It's not quite the place it was, but it's still a great resource. I use it every day, and I put material up. I put up what I call a celebrity fortune cookie every day, where I read a fortune in a different celebrity voice. I've got names on a wheel and do that. And I have an actor tip that I usually post once a week. And I do the voice of Colonel Sanders for your KFC commercials. So I have constructed a series of interviews, or not interviews, what's the word? Phone conversations, that's it. Sort of like archival found phone conversations between Colonel Sanders and some notable celebrity. So I do those. And anyway, you're welcome. And I hope your audience will check out my YouTube channel. I think it's just Jimpressions, or my name, Jim Meskimen. You can find it pretty easily. And TikTok, Jim Meskimen, at Jim Meskimen, and Instagram. And also I have an online courses if anyone's interested in what I've done to become a working actor for 35 years. What are the successful steps that I've taken? And I've made videos about all these important things: auditioning, promotion, marketing, just keeping it rolling, working in all the different areas that I've worked in. And you can find out about that. I'm sure you'll post a link, but it's jimworkingactor.com. Jimworkingactor.com feeds you to the page that tells you all about it. And there's also an impressions course and a voiceover course. So if you have any interest there. Now, I've got a couple of projects that I would love to mention. Right now on the Stars channel, there's a series called Gaslit, which is with Julia Roberts and Sean Penn about the Watergate period and Martha Mitchell. And I have a very nice role in that as Senator Ed Gurney. I got to work with both those fine actors, and that was quite an experience. I'm in 2 episodes of that show. And then I have coming up in the fall a really neat comedy series from the makers of Schitt's Creek called The Big Door Prize with Chris O'Dowd. If you know the Irish actor, Chris O'Dowd is charming and funny and a marvelous actor. I'm in the series with him, and I can't say too much about it, but it's going to be really fun. That'll be on Apple TV.
Absolutely. Please stay tuned for that. I'll put as much of this as I can in the description, because there's so much, but I'll put a lot of his stuff so you can, I'm sure a lot of that stuff will be linked. If you go to his YouTube, it'll show his TikTok and everything. Thanks so much, Jim. I really do appreciate you for being on the channel. Hopefully we can have you another time and have you back on, because I think my audience would love to have you again. But
we didn't talk about Thundercats. We got to talk about Thundercats.
Oh yeah, maybe we can leave them. I don't know. We can leave everyone with a cliffhanger maybe for next time. How about that? Yeah. But hold on, Jim. I can't really log off because I'm getting Mr. President. Mr. President is coming on. George W. Bush.
That Mr. President. I thought it was Joe Biden. Hold on, I got the wrong number. Hold on a second. I put President George W. Bush on the line. Thanks a lot, Joe. Thanks for handing me the phone. Hey there. you're all great Americans. I just want you to recognify that these are challenging times, and we're all in it together. If we're not together, then we're in separate areas of the world and so forth. So peace and love, as Ringo says.
Thank you so much, Jim. And thank you to all of you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please join the channel. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to Jim and check out all of his work. He is wonderful. It's such a joy. I hope he brought
Thanks,
you
Rick.
so many laughs. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And don't forget, everyone, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my supporters on Patreon, especially my Diamond tier patrons. New patron Gerard D, David D, Citizen Kane 359, Greg S, Kevin K, Ricky, Sally, and Vito L. Make sure to check the links in the description to see how you could be on this list as well.